General, you had finished with paragraph 83 just before lunch. Can you proceed from paragraph 84, please?
In summary, the implementation plan provided as follows, among other things: conveyed Minister Mkhwanazi's directive to establish the PKTT. It outlined the measures necessary to ensure that ongoing investigations were not disrupted and dealt with transitional arrangement relating to the disbandment of the PKTT. It directed that, among other things, temporary transition teams to oversee the disbandment process and address any arising challenges be set up. Such teams to report to General Khumalo. The investigative personnel of the PKTT responsible for the case dockets report to General Khumalo until they were reassigned to alternative units. This personnel remain responsible for all investigations and resources allocated to them until a formal handover was completed in accordance with the established protocol. Likewise, crime intelligence personnel remain accountable to the relevant divisional and provincial commissioners until final arrangements were communicated. Comprehensive handover protocols for all ongoing investigations be established and implemented in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Service, Lieutenant General Hilda Sintumula. Detailed record of all handed over investigations be maintained and appended to the final report. All case dockets be handed over to a location to be designated by General Sintumula, who would establish a secure repository for same. PKTT members be assigned to other units within SAPS in consultation of General Sintumula.
You say reassigned, not assigned. Maybe there's not much of a difference, but in the statement you say reassigned.
Yes, Commissioner. Yes, Chair.
Please continue.
A detailed record of the redistributed resources be maintained and appended to the final report. The National Commissioner's witness statement before the Commission, he contends that on 15 February, I attended at his office.
January, I think you mean, General.
On 15 January 2025, I attended at his office where I found him in the presence of General Masemola. He alleges that I briefed him on the implementation plan, which was allegedly amended from the version that I presented on the previous day, and requested that he sign it. He further contends that he declined to sign the letter and informed me that he preferred the PKTT to be disbanded through a process of gradual winding down. According to his version, he instructed me to leave the matter with him, indicating that he would thereafter take the process forward himself. Whilst it is correct that the National Commissioner did not sign the implementation letter, this was not for the reasons he now advances. I reiterate that the true reason, as addressed above, is due to the fact that he regarded the implementation plan as an operational matter. This is further borne out by the email sent by General Masemola to my office on 16 January 2025, in which the implementation plan was forwarded. If the National Commissioner's version were correct, namely that on the 15th he instructed me to leave the matter with him and that he would thereafter take the process forward, there would have been no basis for Major General Masemola to transmit the implementation plan to me the very next day, considering the fact that on the 15th he said stop, leave everything to me, and General Masemola was there according to the National Commissioner. Then the next morning, on the 16th, I still get correspondence from General Sibola. Now that should tell us that really, if that was correct, then General Sibola was wrong also to send me a document the next morning. This is particularly so given that on the National Commissioner's own version, General Sibola was present during the discussion of this very issue on the 15th January 2025. The conduct of General Sibola is therefore irreconcilable with the version now advanced by the National Commissioner. The contention now advanced by the National Commissioner that he instructed me to leave the matter with him constitutes a clear afterthought. It is contrived and it is advanced solely to bolster a retrospective narrative that I acted without authority in issuing the disbandment implementation plan. In amplification of this submission, I refer to paragraph 118 of the National Commissioner's witness statement, wherein he alleges that following his purported discussion with me, he also engaged General Khumalo and instructed him to prepare a preliminary report in accordance with the Minister's directive on the 31st of December 2024. He further alleges that because this instruction emanated directly from him, it took precedence over my instruction of 17 January 2025. A copy of the relevant portion, his witness statement, is attached here to as annexer, marked SS15. May I read that relevant clause on annexer 15, and there's a specific reason why I believe that it is very much important, because can we go to page 217? My apology, Commissioners. I'm slow when it comes to. I want to refer specifically where the National Commissioner say, okay, at the later stage, the president, it is. Sorry, man. 117. Paragraph 117. On the 15th of January 2025, Lieutenant General Sibiya came to my office and found me with Major General Sibola. He briefed me on the prepared plan letter for the PKTT. He presented a plan letter directed to Lieutenant General Khumalo, which letter he requested that I sign. I did not sign the plan and told him I would prefer that it ultimately the PKTT was to be disbanded, which I was against. I did not want it to be abrupt, but rather be taken through the process of winding it down gradually. I told him to leave the matter with me, and I will continue with it myself and develop a report plan that the minister required. Lieutenant General Sibiya was well aware that, as the National Commissioner, only I had the authority to sign off the letter he wanted me to sign. Notwithstanding this, he proceeded to issue the same letter under his own name on the 17th of January 2025 without even changing the due date, which was stated as 16 January 2025. This letter was issued under Lieutenant General Sibiya's name after Lieutenant General Khumalo and I briefed the minister on 16 January 2025 on Lieutenant General Sibiya's involvement and association with the criminal syndicates. I deal with this briefing later. Now, in line with my discussion with Lieutenant General Sibiya, I also had a discussion with Lieutenant General Khumalo. I told him to prepare a preliminary report as contained in the Minister's Directive of 31st December 2024, and that we should aim for 20 January 2025 to submit a report. Since this was a direct instruction from me, it took precedence over Lieutenant General Sibiya's instruction of 17 January. The reason why I wanted to read this, it pains me to see where the National Commissioner compares himself to me. I'm his subordinate. I report to him. He's my boss. He cannot say he gave an instruction and I also gave an instruction, and then his instruction took precedence over his because he's the National Commissioner. Whatever that I wrote or whatever that I submitted, all of it comes from the office of the National Commissioner. Even if, let's say, the National Commissioner was not in agreement with the letter that was written by General Rabi, it was for the National Commissioner to say to General Rabi, but I don't agree with this. Under normal circumstances, in situations like those, when we have to come up with a strategy on how to fight, whether it's cash in transit or what, and the National Commissioner is not happy with the document, he will call all of us and say, I'm not happy with this. Sit down, put a document that I want, and he will give guidance and will say, I'm going. I'll come back at 12 o'clock midnight, and you must tell me that you must give me the document that I want. So to say, the National Commissioner said, leave it to me, I'll take it over and I'll do it myself. Then later he then also come and say, I told General Khumalo to ignore him, and then because of the fact that he's a National Commissioner, his instruction took precedence over mine. There was no competition there. He's my boss also. Whatever that he says goes. So I just wanted to bring that point to say that there was no competition here. What I did is what the National Commissioner was directing. And even as I was writing other letters, it's because the National Commissioner never said to me, stop, I'll take it up myself, I'll do it myself. He never said that to me. So I thought we were running smoothly with the National Commissioner. We kept on attending many other meetings with the National Commissioner, hoping that we were together with the National Commissioner. In the meantime, the National Commissioner was running with the hares and hunting with the hounds, where you please you cannot play for two teams at the same time. You run with us here, you are with us, you cooperate with us, you support us here, and then on the other hand, that side, you go that side and you prevent the same plan that you implement in this side. Because why I'm saying that, if the National Commissioner said, leave it to me, I'll do it myself. It has never happened in the record of my involvement with the National Commissioner, because the bottom line, I'm senior to General Khumalo. He will say, no. Normally we'll even sit together and do it and fix it. Or he will call General Khumalo and others and say, let's work together, and then we'll sit in a boardroom, flash it there, and then start working on it. So there's this and that the National Commissioner said, stop it, I'll do it myself. But then the next morning, I still get correspondence from the National Commissioner that says, sign it, proceed. Then I sign it and proceed. Now, that to me, I wanted the commissioners, chair, to look at it and really, with circumspect. Because I'm saying, there's no way that I could, I've never in my life, having worked with the National Commission, defied him or argued with him or differed with him in any way. Whatever that he said as the National Commissioner, I know his powers. I know that even if I'm the deputy, if tomorrow says, you are my deputy and I don't like the way I work with you because you don't listen, it doesn't need the minister or anybody to change me. He can just do it. I suffer the BS of the National Commissioner. So the National Commissioner would not have done that. Thank you very much. On that point, I'll proceed to the next slide. That's paragraph.
I think you're paragraph 93.
92. This amounts to a clear admission that he was fully aware of the letter I issued on 17 January 2025. His assertion that his instruction to General Khumalo took precedence over mine necessarily presupposes knowledge of my instruction. Absent such knowledge, there would have been no factual or logical basis upon which to assert the primacy of his instruction. On his own version, therefore, he confirmed that he was aware that I had issued the letter dated 17th of January 2025. This directly contradicts his contention that I had been instructed to leave the matter with him and that he would thereafter deal with it himself. The two versions cannot coexist, and his reliance on the alleged precedence of his instruction served only to expose the internal inconsistencies. On 5 of March 2025, the disbandment of the PKTT was debated before Portfolio Committee on Police in Parliament. Both the National Commissioner and General Mkhwanazi were present. But before I get that, I think it is important to note that the National Commissioner said, stop, I will do it myself. But there has been a number of subsequent meetings on the subject where I received invitation to be part of those meetings from the Office of the National Commissioner. So this tells one that if I said, hey, it looks like you don't know what you are doing, stop, I'll do it, I'll do it with General Khumalo, the two of us. Then, I don't know, would you really invite me again in other meetings to participate in those meetings when I'm useless? So, to me, it's something else.
Can you just clarify something? Remember, you moved from a plan that you prepared, and you say there's inconsistency because National Commissioner says he then asked General Khumalo to produce a plan. Now the 20th of January comes. Whose plan was presented to the minister? Was it yours or the one that was prepared by General Khumalo?
It was the one that was presented by General Khumalo and General Masemola.
So he's correct that his instruction took precedence because what he presented to the minister is not what you produced, but what he asked General Khumalo to produce. Just as a matter of fact, not because we are debating.
He's correct, but there's only one thing that I want the commissioner to note, is the fact that that letter of the 22nd that was submitted by the National Commissioner, that was crafted by maybe General Khumalo, was only known to the two of them. I never received it. It was never sent to me. If I'm the General Khumalo reports to me, General Sintumile reports to me, the environment is mine. Now the National Commissioner, let's say he gave that instruction. Why don't you say, write an official letter that says, General Sibiya, we will take over from here, please relax, take it easy. And then from there, whatever that happens, let me not get involved. Now, the National Commissioner submit a document to the minister. I didn't know. And that document, even the minister apparently didn't receive or get. But I'm saying from where I'm sitting, I didn't know, I don't have it. One could ask a question and say, all right, is there any particular reason why it was only from General Khumalo to to the minister and not me knowing or copied at least, so for me to know? Because I continued participating, writing letters. National Commissioner is aware that I'm writing letters. And then in the meantime, he told them this side that no, ignore him. I don't know that. I only heard as and when we were challenging in court and said, no, I told him to ignore him. But in the meantime, I was running with full speed. This side thinking that we are implementing, we are still together. In the meantime, my subordinates, this side were told, no, ignore him.
Thank you.
Now, on the 5th of March 2025, the disbandment of the PKTT was debated at Parliament. General Khumalo made a presentation to the Portfolio Committee. Part of the presentation included a report on the development regarding the PKTT. In this part of the presentation, General Khumalo highlighted his history behind the establishment of the PKTT as well as its accomplishment and triumphs. In the course of the meeting, the PKTT's budget was considered, with members of the Portfolio Committee expressing different perspectives on whether the expenditure could be regarded as yielding a commensurate value and an adequate return on investment. To avoid prolixity, I attach here to marked SS16 the relevant extract of the meeting transcript. The full transcript of the meeting can be made available on the Commission's report. General Mlambo presented the latter part of the SAP's presentation to the Portfolio Committee. In his address, General Mlambo confirmed the Minister's decision to disband the task team. Now, I'm not sure whether General Mlambo is a typo or it was intended to be General Kumalo, but I know General Kumalo presented, I was in Parliament. He further confirmed that the disbandment or disbandment of the PKTT would be effected through its transition from the PKTT to the serious and violent crime component, specifically the murder and robbery unit, within the Division of Detective and Forensic Service. This transition would allow the continued handling of cases under investigation as well as those presently before various courts. I pause to mention that a comparison of the above address and the contents of the communication which I had circulated on 17 January 2025 pertaining to the disbandment of the PKTT reveals no material difference.
General, are you asking us at paragraph 97 to make a correction? Because the statement has to reflect what you say. Where you say General Mlambo might be a typo for General Kumalo.
I want to put, I'll feel comfortable to say General Kumalo because I don't know General Mlambo.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you may proceed.
99. It is noteworthy to add further that neither the National Commissioner nor General Mkhwanazi raised any objection to the disbandment of the PKTT at the portfolio meeting, nor the proposed method of disbandment. Against this backdrop, it is concerning that the National Commissioner now seeks to distance himself from the developments relating to the disbandment of the PKTT and withdrawal of the case dockets. On 5 June 2025, the National Commissioner, okay, before I proceed to this, I want to talk to the presentation that was made in Parliament. General Kumalo presented about the fact that the minister has given a direction as to the disbandment of the PKTT, and he says there has been various meetings held in this regard, and that the PKTT has achieved the purpose for which they were established. 9 districts out of 10 have stabilized. Only one, eThekwini district, is the one that is still giving a headache. But all other 9, and he presented a map that shows green all the way, only one was red. And he said the PKTT can be used as a benchmark. And the docket will be taken now to the murder and robbery unit for further investigation. Now, this is something that we all were working on and agreed on, that no, now they must go to murder and robbery unit because this is where they belong. This is the mandate of the murder and robbery unit. So now, the docket, he said, will be taken there. And he did mention that in a phased-in approach. And then the very next day, they came with, I just think I must first read this until the end so that I don't run and then only to find that I leave important facts behind. On the 5th of June 2025, the National Commissioner approved the work study report. I pause to mention the comments of the National Commissioner appended to his approval, in which he instructed me to expedite the establishment of the murder and robbery unit. While I was not privy to any other specific discussions, if any, in relation to the Minister's directive to disestablish the PKTT on the 31st of December 2024, being held to the circumstances set out above, the directive did not come as a complete surprise to me, and at the very least ought not to have come as a surprise to the National Commissioner. But just for my sake, I just want to say, on the very next day, the 6th of January, the 6th of March, there is an implementation plan. I know the commissioners have seen it. On the 17th, it outlines the plan on how they are going to deal with it. On the 17th of March, they say they will hand over the dockets to the detectives and to the Eastern Cape so that they can be taken to the murder and robbery unit. Now, and I also want to refer to the Portfolio Committee's chairperson, who at some point, after hearing that there is a concern around the disbandment, he came out on TV, national TV, and he said, but you came to Parliament, you presented to Parliament, and nobody raised any concern. You were all in agreement that we are disbanding and that you are going to take the dockets there. Now we are surprised, why this now? So I just want to say, the narrative remains the same, that we were all together in saying there's no disagreement. Maybe, yes, the concern is whether now or when, or in phases. Let me not deviate from the statement and continue reading. Now, I want to get to the allegations made by General Mkhwanazi. I now proceed to address and canvass the allegations made by General Mkhwanazi during his testimony before the Commission on 17 September to 19 September 2025. I shall deal with this thematically. In summary, they can be grouped into the following categories: the withdrawal of the 121 case dockets, my reinstatement at SAPS and appointment as the Deputy National Commissioner, my time as City of Joburg, conversation extracted from Musicat Matlala's phone pertaining to my name, and other inconsistencies in his evidence. The sequence of events leading to the withdrawal of the docket. On the 4th of February 2025, following my letter to General Khumalo on the 17th of January 2025, I addressed correspondence to General Khumalo and to General Sintumule, instructing her to comply with the Minister's directive, to engage with General Khumalo, and to ensure a proper handover of the PKTT's functions. A copy of the aforementioned correspondence is attached here to and marked as SS-17. In summary, SS-17 requires that the following steps be implemented at the direction of General Sintumule. A comprehensive status report of all cases was to be compiled. A consolidated case register was to be created, recording all matters handled by the PKTT, including the current status of court-going cases and cases still under investigation. All documentation relating to PKTT cases and project was to be formally booked into SAPS, SAPS 13 or otherwise accounted for if in the possession of the task team or stored at any designated facility. A complete inventory of all human and physical resources. That's the letter. I think most of the information that is contained in the same letter. What is evident from the above is that there was no express instruction to withdraw dockets from the PKTT and have them stored at head office. I want to speak to this, but before, Commissioners, I want it to be clear that my involvement, I was not involved in the PKTT at all, and no any other person was involved except only 4 people: Minister, National Commissioner, General Kumalo, General Masemola, maybe General Sibiya of the Hawks, but he was not mostly involved, apparently. But only those 4. So we had nothing to do with the PKTT. But all of a sudden, the National Commissioner wrote to me on the 3rd and a message. He wrote to me an email that says, and I want us to read that email. I know the commissioners have seen it before, because what I want to repeat it and read it into the record, because this is what kept me in the game, what made me get involved. I was performing the duties as instructed. It says, by direction of the National Commissioner, the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection is therefore directed to inform the relevant team. Now, the National Commissioner, I feel, could have easily referred it to General Kumalo, because it's General Kumalo and General Mkhwanazi who were involved there. As to why they're to be sent to General Sibiya, who's not involved completely, that is something else. But now, I am already involved. It's an instruction from the National Commissioner. The same email that I received from the Office of the National Commissioner, I forward to General Kumalo and say, as directed, please implement the minister's directive as per the email, and please ensure that on the 13th, I get the report, because the National Commissioner wanted it on the 14th. Now,
As General, just to clarify, this was the email of 3rd January, which was at the time when General Mosikiri was acting National Commissioner.
Yes, but General Mosikiri was acting, but the National Commissioner, remember, also said, I called them and I told them to prepare reports. And then the question was, I don't know whether it was at the ad-hoc or here, where the National Commissioner said, I told them to prepare reports. Now, reports to say what? He said not to do anything, but to prepare reports. Now, the instruction that I have says, prepare a close-up report. It's a close-up report. And a close-up report is a close-up report. You can't say I send it to the Deputy National Commissioners to prepare, to write reports. Report to say what? Now, that is what happened basically. So that is how I got involved. Now, I want to say, as we were implementing, considering the fact that the National Commissioner said, leave it up to me, I'll do it, or said to General Kumalo, ignore him. I kept on writing letters. In the meantime, my boss said to my subordinate, ignore him. Now, we are now working separate ways. The only person who's in the center is the National Commissioner, who knows what is happening in this side and what is happening in this side. He said, ignore him. Then, all right. Then it gets to a point where now the National Commissioner, okay, in my case, all of a sudden, after the implementation plan, that was the action plan, that was actually crafted on the 6th of March. That says by the 17th we will be transferring the dockets to murder and robbery to the province. Now, come the 28th of January, the 27th, General Kumalo gave an instruction. Now, General Kumalo is crime intelligence, is the coordinator of the PKTT. He gave an instruction to a Colonel Kumalo to go and collect the docket from KZN. The judge, the chairperson asked a question and say, why were the dockets taken from KZN to Gauteng? I don't know. I never gave any instructions to anyone to go fetch the dockets from KZ and bring them to Gauteng. Now, the dockets were taken from KZN, brought to head office. I only was told that the dockets have been handed over. Here is a, can we refer to the handing over report and the people that attended that handing over, because there are signatures of the individuals that were involved there to do a handing over. In my case, I've been involved, Chair, in many such handing overs, including the disbandment of the Scorpions into the DPCI. I am the one who, with Advocate Rothman, I was the head of investigations. Advocate Rothman was in general the head of the DPCI. All the dockets I was, and the projects, we had to take them to the police. We had to prepare reports. We had to look into each and every one, the status, and then so that we have a proper record of what we handed over. So to my advice was that just make sure that nothing falls in between the cracks, and that we don't lose cases because of this transition, and that we can account for each and every docket. Now the team met with General Sintumule, with General Kumalo, with those individual other police officials that were involved. They did the handing over. I am not even involved. At that time, I didn't even know that that process is happening. I know I've once written something that says it must happen. Now it's happening, but I didn't know. So now, General Kumalo reports to me, General Sintumula reports to me and said, 118 dockets have been brought, and then we've got them. So the team is still taking stock and also inspecting them so that we can check in which status they are. Then after some, I don't know whether it's a week or two, but after or a month, 3 more dockets were brought of Namhla Mtwa in the Eastern Cape. This is the case that I allocated to General Kumalo more than a year ago to look into. They were also brought in. Now it's 121 dockets. Now, this 121 dockets, they are here at head office. I realize that in my mind, I say, these dockets are here. Immediately, I think a week thereafter, I wrote a letter that says this docket must be gone. They must go back to where they belong, station. Everybody must now, because the dockets are here now. I said, now let it be that everybody now, because the dockets are here and they must now reach the stations where they belong, or murder and robbery unit where they belong. So General Sintumula says to me, I called General Mkhwanazi to discuss it with him, and General Mkhwanazi said, I don't want those dockets. Now when General Mkhwanazi says, I don't want those dockets,
but General, I know you do deal with that part of the narrative, that is that the dockets were offered to General Mkhwanazi and he refused to take them. Don't you think you want to deal with it as you go through your statement?
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Chairperson.
And General, on that note, your explanation now that you've just given about the handover process, as I see it, takes you to paragraph 115 of your statement. So perhaps you could just look at that to see whether that's correct.
Why, if the chair allows me, that I go according to the statement then, so because maybe there's a specific reason why the chair says I must just go according to the statement.
No, it's not a case of so much allowing you, but I think the point made by Ms. Hassim is in the explanation that you've been giving for the past few minutes, you have dealt with what starts from paragraph 103 up to, you said what, Ms. Hassim?
115.
up to 115. So I think what you should do is just to consider whether you agree that that is indeed so. If you do, then you start from 115 or 116.
Can I go from 109?
From 109.
109.
Yes, I'm not pushing you to do that, General. If you feel you'll be skipping important parts that you would want to deal with, please feel free to indicate. So I'm not pushing you in any particular direction.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the indulgence, Chair. Because of this a subject that I've dealt with for such a long time, sometimes I tend to want to run on it. But in the meantime, legally speaking, they put facts the way they want them put. So I might be skipping some of the rules myself. So I'll read from 105 so that I just take it step by step.
105.
Tell me where to start, Chair.
I think, well...
Let's just let the General start.
106. You read 105 already.
I'll go from 106,
Yes.
Chair. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
What is evident from the above is that there was no express instruction to withdraw dockets from the PKTT and have them stored at head office. Not from me. On the contrary, the directives contemplated the proper recording, safeguarding, and management of case dockets and related documentation. The above interventions were reasonable and necessary measures that would ordinarily be implemented when disestablishing a team. They were aimed at ensuring that the integrity of evidence and pending cases was preserved, that ongoing investigations were not disrupted, while currently ensuring that proper and comprehensive reports were compiled for purpose of accountability and historical record keeping. Far from being untoward, these interventions were standard, appropriate, and to be expected in the orderly disestablishment of any team. Following the Portfolio Committee meeting that took place on 5 of March, a briefing on the disestablishment of the PKT took place on 6 March. At such a meeting, General Kumalo presented a briefing note to the Minister on the disbandment of the PKTT. A copy of this presentation is annexed here to marked as SS 18. Can we go to annex SS 18? Here is it. It's page 271, Chair. It says it's divided into 3 parts. The first one is activities, then responsibility, then the due date. The first one says approval of disbandment plan by the Minister of Police as the person who's responsible, and then the date is 2025-03-06. Then stakeholder engagement with NPA, including prioritization of the 114 cases, is National Commissioner.
Sorry, General, where are you reading now? We do see the document. It starts at, I think, 330.
It does, yes. SS 18, is that the document you wish to refer to? That's a presentation to Parliament.
Not to Parliament, to the Minister.
To the Minister,
the 6th.
yes, 6th of March.
This one.
You are reading at which page?
330.
330.
It's 330, but I was reading now 337 because that is the most relevant one. Commissioner. But I think, Commissioner, with your permission, when I look at 331, I think 331, which means is very much crucial, that says the Minister of Police issued a directive to the National Commissioner regarding the establishment of the National Political Killing Task Team. And I'm sorry that one moment we call it National Political Killing and one moment we call it PKTT, but this is what it is. Various meetings has been held and a detailed progress report submitted to the Minister of Police. Now, it confirmed that various meetings were held. The disestablishment and or the disestablishment and or disbandment will take place, will take a form of a transition from NPKTT to component serious and violent crimes, murder and robbery unit within Division Detective and Forensic Service. The transition will ensure continuity of cases, particularly those that are under investigation and those that are in court. This presentation will focus on the status of the investigation and the handover plan. So now, when I look at 337, the action plan, can I proceed? Now, when I look at the action plan, approval of the disbandment plan is the Minister of Police, and the due date is the 6th of March 2025. The stakeholder engagement with NPA, including prioritization of the 114 cases, is the National Commissioner on the 17th of March. Now, this is a stakeholder engagement. It means, because this is what's done by General Kumalo and the National Commissioner was there. When we talk about the stakeholder engagement with NPA, now it places it squarely, entirely on the shoulders of the National Commissioner now, including prioritization of the 114 cases. Now, approval of the new call-up instruction and final authority of 2025-2026 is National Commissioner on the 17th of March. Returning the dockets under investigation to KZN and Eastern Cape is NPKTT Project Manager, Divisional Commissioner, Detective Service and Forensic. It is the 17th of March. To provide progress to the Minister, National Commissioner and Deputy National Commissioner's Crime Detection is a Project Manager, Divisional Commissioner, Detective and Forensic Service, both General Kumalo and General Sintumula, on the 31st of March 2025. And to submit the final close-up report to the Minister is Project Manager, Divisional Commissioner, Detective, Forensic on the 31st of March. Now, why I thought this is important, the dockets, the 121 dockets that were collected form part of the action plan. Whose action plan? Action plan that was crafted by the people that are in charge of the dockets, that says this is what we are going to do. And they implement that exactly. And how they implemented it, in one of the letters that I wrote, I said it must be handed over to the divisional commissioner, detectives. Now, I am in charge of 2 divisions. Both of them are my divisions, both of them. Now I say, because you are crime intelligence, these belong into this space, murder and robbery unit. Just you do a handing over to this one. They don't have to bring the dockets to head office. They could both flown down, go and do it. They can still do it in the office and say, all right, here's the handing over, and then I'm handing over so many dockets and everything, and then Dennis Ntumula will just confirm that I received so many dockets and this is how it works. So as to how the dockets were removed from KZN and brought to head office, that I didn't have any control over, Chairperson. So let me proceed with my statement. evidence leader.
You had paragraph 110.
110. The presentation prepared by General Khumalo contains a detailed action plan recording the steps to be taken in the disestablishment of the PKTT, identifying the official responsible for each step, and stipulating the corresponding due dates for their completion. When regarded to the action plan that was prepared, it is apparent that one of its components was that the returning of the dockets under investigation to KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape. This step was required to be completed by 17 March 2025. On the 27th of March 2025, I attended a follow-up ministerial meeting at SAPS, where the National Commissioner and General Khumalo presented an update entitled Disbandment of Political Killing Task Team. At that meeting, Minister Mkhwanazi expressed his dissatisfaction that the National Commissioner had failed to act in accordance with his directive to disband the PKTT immediately. On the 28th of March 2025, the PKTT convener, General Khumalo, and General Sintumule, there was a typo here. It's written General Khumalo and General Khumalo, but it is a typo on one. Prepared a written handover report in terms of which General Khumalo handed over 118 dockets, a copy of this report is attached here to as Annex SS-19. As is evident from the attendance register relating to the handover of the dockets attached here to Mark SS-20, I was not present at the time when the dockets were handed over by General Khumalo. Can we just maybe run our eyes through SS-20 just to indicate the people who were there? I've got it. This is page 353. May I proceed? Yes. Chair, this is the handing over documents or docket under investigation by CI. Now, as you can see, the first person is Lieutenant General Sintumule, the second one is Lieutenant General Khumalo, and then Brigadier Kupoditata, and then I don't know whether it's Ramukuba or then Mdluli, then Mhloko, then Ketseke, and Kebekulu. So these are the people, and then each one of them on the side here, there's a disclaimer that says, I, the undersigned, attending official meeting for a specific purpose where matters of sensitive government directives will be disclosed. I solemnly declare that so this one was just a declaration to say that I won't leak information, I won't do that. But what I wanted to just bring to the attention of the commissioners is that there was a big team that was put together to say, go through this document so that whatever that we receive, we can account. And that tomorrow we are not going to be blamed for whatever reason. So when they took it, they then even went to an extent of saying, we are inspecting this docket. And I think when they inspected those dockets, they wanted to make sure that tomorrow they are all covered. And they inspected the dockets and they produced a report.
General, I'm going to pause you there just because you're going off the statement again, and I know that you are going to be dealing with the issue of the inspection report. So I'm just letting you know that you may want to stick to what you've said in the statement.
Yes, no, I'm going back. I've already shifted the document.
General, as you go through the statement, please clarify this for me. On whose instructions was General Sintumule acting? How did she become involved in all of this?
General.
Remember, you are in paragraph 28. You've just asked us to make a correction to say it's General Khumalo and General Sintumule.
113.
Sorry, 113 on page 38. So as you explain that and you go through your statement, just clarify for me how General Sintumule becomes involved. We've got her version, but maybe from how you remember it, you can just clarify for us.
As I indicated earlier, commissioners, I have two divisional commissioners. I don't deal with the ground. Now, the two divisional commissioners, Divisional Commissioner CI, Crime Intelligence, who is also doing the political killing testing, must hand over to General Sintumule, under whose mandate the murder and robbery unit fall. So this one must hand over to this one.
Is that your instruction, that this one must hand over the dockets to the other one?
That's correct.
Yes, because the reason I'm asking is I had understood you earlier to be saying you gave no instruction and you had nothing to do with the handover of the dockets. That's why I was a bit confused. So I needed that clarity so that I understand. How did General Sintumule get to decide that she must get dockets from General Khumalo? So you're saying you are the one who instructed General Khumalo to hand over the dockets to General Sintumule?
Yes. That's the first point. The second point is that based on their action plan themselves, they said this is what we are going to do. Themselves, they came up with an action plan. This is the action plan they came up with and said this is what we are going to do. But it was inevitable anyway because General Sintumule, it is her role, it is her department. So my instruction was just to say, give from this one to this one. So this is how she got involved. But what I never gave, the instruction that I never gave was to say, go get the dockets from KZ and bring them to head office. That never happened. I'm going now on paragraph 114. On the 22nd of April 2025, I followed up with Divisional Commissioner on the implementation of the Minister Mkhwanazi Directive. A copy of my follow-up letter is attached here to as annexer SS21. This was as a result of the fact that the dockets were now taken to head office because now the dockets were here and I had to push now that something must happen so that they don't stay there and gather dust at head office. On the 23rd of April 2025, a further 3 dockets were handed over by General Khumalo. The dockets were in relation to the investigation conducted in the Eastern Cape. A copy of the handing over schedule addressed to General Sintumule is attached, marked as SS22. Now you can see the difference. This one was on the 23rd of April. And then this one, the dockets were handed over on the 28th of March, which is almost a month thereafter when the 3 dockets were now taken to General Sintumule. So it is imperative that I emphasize that the dockets were not taken to be stored at head office. They were to be taken to where the investigations could continue. Alternatively to their station of origin, as contemplated in the presentation prepared by General Khumalo and on the 5th and the 6th March 2025 briefing. The status of the docket. I was provided with a report on the status of the investigation on the docket. This status report on the docket was prepared by General Merikuki Motsepe. A copy of this report is attached here to Annexer SS23. May I read into the record Annexer SS23? Don't have it. It's not here. It's not here.
It's the next file.
It's the next file, General.
353 is a
3 of 10.
Now, this is the, when you look at 356 to 422, I'm not going to go through case by case, it's a lot, commissioners. But what I want to demonstrate here is that this docket, when you look at the columns, from column, you've got column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. The first one, it will be the station and the case, let's say the crime committed, then the case number, then the description of what happened, and the IO involved in the outstanding investigations and who's the victim. I'm not going to enter into that space of the names and the victim just to protect the families. But what I want to say is that when you look at the first case of Harding,
Perhaps, General, you should start by saying what is the document on page 356 and the one at 422 that you say we should compare with. If you would just describe the document itself. And maybe the heading of the document does assist.
Commissioner, let me understand from where the commissioner is coming from.
Well, what I'm asking you to do is, before you discuss the information that is in page 356, in the report in 356, you first say, what is this document?
This is a progress report of political killing cases that were, as they were inspecting each and every docket.
Yes.
And then they had to prepare a report.
Okay.
Per docket.
Okay. And then 422, that you say we should compare with, what is that document?
Allow me to go to 422. All right. Now, 422, as you can see that later, the document that was drawn up during the handing over, it's a document that it is an inspection report of the status and the conditions under which we found these files. This file was last seen, this is what it was about, and this was the crime committed, and then this is when last this file was seen, was inspected or worked on. But when you look at the next one, the one of 422, it's like a document to try and cover or maybe oppose the first document that we produced, because this one was not there initially. But I'll get to it when I get to it. Can I proceed on this one?
No, I just wanted for the record for us to know what documents we are comparing. I'm happy with your description. You can proceed.
Now, when you look at this 356, and you look at column 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth column, Chair, the fourth column, you will see a sergeant name, and then you'll see, I want us to concentrate on the last day of investigation date. This is only what we are going to, and then maybe at some point where there's a need, we'll say, in the last paragraph, you'll see whether, for instance, not political related, what is it about? So only those two ones we will see. Now, when you look at the first one, it says the heading one is 2023-03-24. This is the last day of investigation in the investigation diary of that case, which means this docket was last opened more than a year. It was not touched. When you look at the next one, is 2024, 12, 14. But I want to take you to number 5, Muden. This docket, the last day of investigation was date 2022-08-24. Then you page again, you go to number 7, Mkhwanazi matter. It's a murder case, drug related. It says, the last day of the investigation date was 2020-03-30, which means this docket was already not being worked on for almost 5 years. When you go to, I'm picking Chair, number 9, Umlazi. It was last seen on 2023-08-16. But when you go to number 10 of Escort, the last day of investigation is 2019. These are the dockets now that are sitting somewhere in a corner and gathering dust. When you look at 11, Thornville 1, this investigation, the last investigation date was 2021-11-06. When you go to 13, Kwanongoma, the last day of investigation of the matter is 2023-09-17. And I'm not going to go all because there are too many, Chair. And of course, there will be few that are on the 2025, 2024, so that it doesn't look like I'm only picking the West one. Because that question might come and say, why are you just picking on the one that you want us to know about? But what I wanted to say is that go to 23. Let's say 22 and 23. 22 is Paddock. The last day of investigation is 2022. You go to the one 2023 to 23 is 2020-14. You go to 2024, number 24, the last day of investigation is 2019. So if you go on and on, Chair, is the same situation. All these dockets, I can go up to, let's say, for instance, go to 48 and 47. The last day of investigation is 2020, 06-26. 48 is 2021, 05-19. You go to 49, Melmoth is 2022, 05-10. So let me end here, just to save time. But I want to say, we didn't take the docket, store them at head office. They are gathering dust somewhere in my office. I've never seen even a single docket to date. I've never seen even one. There's never been in my office. I don't have a safe in my office, nor an archive. I've never had any docket sitting in my office gathering dust at all. But I was just showing this, and then I will go back to the statement, Chair. Now, we were at paragraph.
Before you go to the statement, General, did you receive a report, this report? I mean, surely you expected that the report will come to you.
Yes, I did receive the copy of the report, and then there was one that was also crafted by General Motsepe, but I think that one was crafted well after the press conference.
Yes, I think the point of my question is, so you would have come to know what dockets there are, what is contained in the dockets, and what is the status of the dockets.
This report, yes, I got it.
Thank you.
Can I proceed? Chair, evidence leader, you'll advise me. I'm at paragraph 119.
Yes, you are.
All right. 118, my observation of the status of the 121 dockets handed over is that many of them had not been worked on since 2018. It is therefore incorrect and malafide to attribute any investigative delays to me, as these dockets were only under head office control for a period of 3 months. In preparation, in paragraph 142 of General Mkhwanazi's statement, he states that at the time of removal from the task team, 5 of the dockets that were removed allegedly already contained instructions to arrest named suspects and that the arrests were not effected while the dockets were under my control for reasons not known to him. I want to categorically deny or make it clear that I never had any docket in my possession. I didn't inside of any docket. I wouldn't have known that there is this docket that is due, because the people who did a handing over was General Sintumula and General Kumalo, and General Sintumula was part of the handing over, would have known about certain dockets that they will have arrest warrants. I wouldn't have known.
General, I don't think this is controversial, maybe just so that we correct it. In the second line, your statement says 2019, but when you read, you said 2018. And then the period of 3 months, I think it's also not controversial that it was actually 5. You've already testified that the dockets were taken on the 28th of March and they were returned sometime in August. So that's a 5-month period and not 3 months as recorded in your statement. I don't think that is controversial. It's just a matter of correcting it as we go along.
Yes, even in mine is 2019. But what I know is that when you page through, you will find one that says 2018, 1 or 2. That's why, as I was writing myself, I said 18. But I accept it's just a typo. Even if I was to go with 2019, it's still fine, Chair.
And then the 3 months, the last sentence of that paragraph. The dockets were taken on 28 March and they were returned in August.
Yes.
So that is 5 months, not 3 months.
Yes.
Because March takes you to June, that's 3 months. July, August, that's 5.
Yes. Now, I'm tempted, Chair, to address this issue of why they were there for that period. But on the other hand, I may find that, like the evidence leader already warned me that now you are deviating again from your statement. I'm going to go through the statement, but I don't know whether somewhere I will get a... Let me go with the statement. Because...
But General, do you agree that we changed the 3 months last line of 118 to 5 months? That's the point Commissioner Kumalo was raising. Or not?
Chair, there was a sort of a confusion in between.
Leave aside the 3 Eastern Cape dockets.
Yes.
Just looking at the bulk of the dockets.
Yes, when I said there was a sort of a confusion somewhere in between, they were there, and then at the time up until when I was myself suspended, then they went at a particular time, which may have now pushed it to 5 months.
We won't change it then. I did not want to invite a debate.
So,
let's leave it at your 3 months.
Yes, I would say 3 months, even if it's 5 months, is to me personally.
Let's leave it.
It's a delay long enough.
Let's leave it. Leave it. Please continue.
In paragraph 119. In paragraph 142 of General Mkhwanazi's statement, he states that at the time of the removal from the task team, 5 dockets that were removed allegedly already contained the instruction to arrest named suspects and that the arrests were not effected while the dockets were under my control for reasons not known. I still believe that if there were dockets that were ready to be arrested, they could have themselves effected those arrests because they had warrant of arrest. But there was no dockets, apparently, according to the report that I saw drafted by General Motsepe, that had a warrant of arrest. If there's any...
I think on this, please go by what you have in your statement, because you do make the point about there being no J50s and so on in the docket. So please don't speak to it. Just
thanks a lot, Chair.
Because otherwise it causes delays.
Thanks a lot, Chair. The tenor of General Mkhwanazi's testimony reflects an attempt to shape a narrative adverse to me and to impugn my reputation. A consideration of SS23 demonstrates that, contrary to General Mkhwanazi's allegations that 5 of the dockets that were removed allegedly already contained instructions to arrest named suspects, only 4 dockets contained instructions to arrest, which appeared to originate from the investigating officer, and not 5 as alleged. Significantly, none of these dockets contain signed J50 forms. A J50 form is a formal warrant of arrest issued by a magistrate or judge authorizing the police to arrest a named suspect. So the absence of such signed J50 form demonstrates that even where internal arrest instructions existed, the process had not progressed to the point of securing judicial authorization. Furthermore, and notwithstanding that there were only 4 dockets which contained any instructions to arrest named suspects, the objective documentary records reflect the following. The first docket directing the arrest of a named suspect recorded the last day of investigation to be 24 August 2022. 3 years. And they didn't arrest that suspect within that 3 years. The second docket recorded the last day of investigation, 17 February 2023. The third docket recorded the last day of investigation of 17 September 2023, and the last docket records the last day of investigation on 24 March 2023. These are the dockets that were said to be ready for arrest. But look at where they come from, without the PKTT themselves not having effected this arrest over this period of time. It is demonstrably and plainly false to suggest that the failure to effect this arrest or the alleged inability of the PKTT to act was because the dockets were sitting at head office under my control. By the time any question arose about the dockets being at head office, the investigation had long since reached a recorded conclusion, and the arrest could and should already have been effected. It is disingenuous and deeply troubling that General Mkhwanazi now seeks to shift responsibility for this long outstanding arrest onto me. The fact remains that the PKTT failed to act in 2022 and 2023, despite arrest instructions and fully investigated matters. They just never acted on them. Additionally, this report makes plain that the overwhelming majority of dockets within the remit of the PKTT were long stagnant. Only 18% of the dockets reflect a last day of investigation in 2025. A further 21% recorded a last day of investigation in 2024, and 22% recorded a last day of investigation as far back as 2023. Beyond this, a not significant number of dockets show even earlier last days of investigation dates, some dating to 2017, 2018, even 2019. This is the last date when they had a look at these dockets themselves. These figures belie any assertion that the PKTT was functioning effectively or making meaningful investigative progress. To the contrary, they reveal a pattern of dormancy and stagnation over a prolonged period, despite the team having been allocated substantial budget, resources, and operational support. General Mkhwanazi has
Sorry, General. What entry is made in a docket to indicate the last date of investigation? What do you write there?
A docket is divided, it will have what you call an investigation diary. Just like when you are in court, you've got a case, your case where you write your record every day. Now, in the case of a docket, there's got a C part of it, C5. Now, here, from the first information of crime, where you write, then you will write first information crime as per A1. Interviewed complainant, and then Mrs. So-and-so alleges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he gave me a list of witnesses to interview. I interviewed so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Statement of witness so-and-so attached here to as annexure so-and-so. Statement of so-and-so attached here to as annexure so-and-so. You go now to a point where you say you receive this evidence that you attach now in the B side of the document, and then you got this medical document or certificate that you also attach in the document. But everything that you do, you make entries in the investigation diary. Now, to an extent that when you have now, let's say, the supervisor now.
So there you note what you have done.
Yes, and then it is also communication between the supervisor and the investigating officer. Sometimes even the prosecutors will write in the investigation diary. Now, every now and then you will bring the docket for inspection to your supervisor. As a supervisor, I'll write with a red pen now and say, this docket have been too long outstanding, or interview so-and-so, or sometimes I will guide you as the investigator. Let's say it's a murder case, it's a complicated case. Sometimes you're telling me what you have done. Then I say to you, all right, I think you must also do 1, 2, 3, 4, consider do 1, 2, 3, 4. I write in the docket. And then once you have also received your, let's say you are at a point where you want to arrest, you'll say, now the docket is fully completed, it's going to be discussed with the prosecutor. Then it goes to the prosecutor. The prosecutor will read the docket and then ascertain the facts and then advise on the investigation diary as well. Or either put an annexer typed, but mostly they write also in the docket, and then the investigative officer now is guided, then run on the inquiries of the prosecutor. Now, the last date in the docket, you will see that if the last date is 2018, where is this docket? Where was this docket all along? It's somewhere. It's not being worked on. And we've got a lot of them in this report. These are the dockets that were said to be gathering dust in my office, but they were not being attended to anyway.
Thank you, I follow that.
General, can I just clarify? When in that paragraph 127, where you say these figures belie any assertion that the PKTT was functioning effectively or making meaningful investigative progress, is this a general statement about the PKTT, or you referring just to the dockets that you had? Because the evidence that we've had is that the 118 are not the sum of what the PKTT has had to deal with since it was formed.
I'm indicating the fact that there's a notion that says that the PKTT is the most effective, hardworking, prolific team that is operating. But under the circumstances where I'm sitting with so many dockets that were last seen in 2018, 2017, 2020, I can't say they were effective at all.
You say even in respect of past dockets that were not part of the 118.
Yes.
And you say in respect of past dockets, you say that because as I understand from this report, and again, it's just trying to clarify your position, that this report speaks to what was availed in compliance with your instruction to General Sintumule, which is 118 dockets. And then you've gone through ones that were last investigated some years back over a period. And you comment that that is evidence that the PKTT, that it's a lie, that the PKTT was effective. And I'm trying to understand that from these 118 dockets, you make the statement that in its life, therefore, the PKTT was never effective. I'm just trying to understand whether you confine yourself to the 118, or you're saying since it was formed in 2018, it was never effective?
Well, I'm going to speak as an experienced investigating officer now from my corner, not in connection with the PKTT alone. I'm saying, even though the PKTT provided documents and they can put their dockets here and they say these are our successes, I have a document that I've prepared that along the way we are going to discuss about it, where I say I've got so many cases that are between 1 year and 5 years. I want to know, why do we still have a docket as long as between 1 year and 5 years? Why do I have a docket that is between, how many dockets in the country per province? That says I've got so many dockets that are between let's say 5 years and 10 years. Why do we have so many dockets? The reason why I'm taking this route, commissioners, I want to say, the fact that they say to you, remember they prepared the report, that's it, these are our successes. But you may find that the success they spoke about, a docket that was supposed to have been completed in 2 years, was completed in 5 years. It does not necessarily mean that they are effective still, even though it was a success. To me, a successful and a very strong team, I say, and that is what is the report that we produced, that was approved even by the National Commissioner, to say, I have so many dockets in respective environments that are, you find that, let's say in crime intelligence, we've got dockets that are 20 years old and over. Now, I ask myself a question, why do I have a docket that is 20 years old?
Okay. Let me interrupt you, because I think you're going wider than what I was seeking clarification on. We will come back to it, but let me maybe highlight this to explain my question. What I wanted to understand, and I'm not asking you to respond now, we can deal with it later, is you have highlighted from this report a number of cases by year that were last investigated, and you highlight them to demonstrate that as you say in paragraph 127, that in fact they were not as effective and successful as they have claimed to be. That's how I've understood what you were doing with that table. And my question was, do you, on the basis of what you have highlighted or what you have found in this report, is it the sole basis on which you say they were not effective since they were formed? I want to suggest to you, because of how you're answering, I want to suggest to you that pack it, because I know there will be a much more detailed discussion about this, and pack it and keep it in mind, and then we'll get back to it at that time. But that's really what I'm asking you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Paragraph
128.
128. General Mkhwanazi has now gone so far as to claim that the relevant arrests were effected within a week of the dockets being returned to KwaZulu-Natal. This assertion is, with respect, incongruous and unimpressive when one has regard to the fact that there were no signed J50 forms in respect of these dockets, coupled with fact that the PKTT had possession of arrest instructions for more than 3 years without acting on them. The suggestion that it suddenly acted with exceptional efficiency once the dockets were returned to KZN is implausible and calls into question the credibility of that claim. My worry is that, I think we've also heard the National Commissioner said, people are being arrested now that the docket have been returned to KZN. But if indeed it is those documents, the dockets that we are talking about, they were there for more than 3 years without being arrested. But be that as it may, in paragraph 129, more significantly, General Mkhwanazi has not disclosed to this commission or to the public why these arrests were not effected when they should have been, and why the last recorded day of investigation in these dockets date back as far as 3 years ago, notwithstanding that the suspects were already identified and named. Furthermore, emphasis must be placed on the fact that when General Sintumule attempted to transfer the docket back to KZN as contemplated by General Khumalo's action plan presented on 6th of March 2025, General Mkhwanazi refused to accept them into the province. Accordingly, it is his refusal that directly contributed to the delay in advancing the investigations and not my conduct. Commissioners, General Sintumule was here and she also said they were not meant to be kept at head office, they were in transit to go to KZN, but when she made a call to General Mkhwanazi rejected them. Chairperson, with respect, allow me to raise this one. I'm not being critical, but I'm just putting it with respect, Chair. When the Chair says, I don't know who gave an instruction, when they said General Mkhwanazi rejected the docket because he felt that this docket, he didn't know how they left the province, and the Chair said, I can put myself in General Mkhwanazi's shoes. I can put myself in General Mkhwanazi's shoes because this docket were taken, I was not told, I didn't know how. I still believe, Chair, that two wrongs doesn't make a right. The fact that these dockets come from that province and now they say they are coming back, you can't say I don't want them. Now, then Commissioner Khumalo says, all of you must accept that you failed the people of South Africa and you must apologize. I am the very first one to stand up. Immediately after, when this thing exploded to the media, I realized that we are now embarrassing ourselves, we are embarrassing the police, we are putting the police into disrepute, we are embarrassing government. And then I said to the people of South Africa, I really apologize that we have to go through this, and we as the management of the police, we have to do this to the people of South Africa. I'm the first one to say I apologize. I was even mocked. They created the body of a dead person who says, I apologize. But I apologize because to me, it's an embarrassment. Commissioner, I come back 37 years old, 37 years doing this job. Now, to me, I felt embarrassed and I grew up the rank. Like all of them, there's no a single detective, especially in the DPCI, who can say to you, all of them have worked under me, all of them. In the whole country, as we speak. Now, I'm just saying, it's not like I'm talking from somewhere who doesn't know what he's doing. I apologize, I felt bad. I have the qualifications for the position that I'm in. Even the one of the hawks that was advertised, they put the qualifications, I applied because I have the qualifications. So I'm just saying, Commissioner, I apologized, but I wanted to address this fact that says, the fact that General Mkhwanazi rejected those dockets on its own shouldn't have been allowed. The National Commissioner was supposed to say, General, we have the dockets here. We already agreed to the minister that this docket must go there, and now we cannot say no when the docket must come because we already agreed to the minister in terms of the action plan. But the National Commissioner didn't do that. Instead, what he did, he said, let General Sibiya then apply his mind and maybe make sure that this docket receive attention. That's when we had to then apply, because of the fact that we can't send people from Gauteng to KZN to the place they don't know. and they need to be backed up, to be supported. They need to sleep at the hotel, and some of them, they will start now studying the docket, then going to meet people. Now, it's a process. And that was caused by what? By the fact that General Mkhwanazi said, no, I don't want this docket in my province. That's the cause of the delay of everything. But I don't say I'm distancing myself from the confusion. Commissioners, I'm not saying I didn't participate. I accept my role in the whole confusion. Thank you very much, Commissioners. Let me proceed.
You read paragraph 131.
My reinstatement to SAPS and appointment as the Deputy National Commissioner. General Mkhwanazi sought to make much of the fact that the SAPS did not oppose my appeal to the Labour Court, challenging the Labour Court decision not to grant my reinstatement request, after the Labour Court had found my dismissal to be substantively and procedurally unfair, and further that approximately a year after my reinstatement, I was appointed as a Deputy National Commissioner. This emphasis is misplaced and misleading. The police fired me unlawfully so, and I challenged, and General Clemens, and the court agreed with me that he made a false statement under oath, and that he lacks honor and integrity, and that I was falsely accused and everything. And the police then tried to object to my reinstatement. They even mentioned the fact that his position has already been filled. The judge said, no, even if it's been filled, the police, you can still place him somewhere. Even myself, I said, I don't mind going back, even if you put me somewhere in a corner and give a chair, I'll sit there as long as I'm back at the police, because this is where my career is. That's why I left there, came back to the police, because it was a long outstanding court battle at the Labour Appeal Court. And when the Labour Appeal Court gave me that option, I grabbed it. By portraying these events as if they were irregular or suggestive of wrongdoing, General Mkhwanazi distorts their true significance and seek to impugn my integrity without factual basis. While I cannot speak to the reasons why SAPS elected not to oppose my appeal, I am aware that such a decision would have been taken on the basis of its own legal advice and internal considerations. The uncontested fact remains that the Labour Appeal Court found my dismissal unfair and ordered that I be reinstated at the position. I would have been as if I never left. SAPS took a decision not to pursue an unmeritorious opposition of the appeal, and my later appointment complied with not only all applicable procedures and standards, but with the Labour Appeal Court. So,
Labour Appeal Court order.
The Labour Appeal Court order, yes. That's the Labour Appeal Court order. The Labour Court actually ruled in my favor, but didn't reinstate. I was still not happy, and then I went back and said, but Judge, you said all the right things about me, that I was unlawfully, and you mentioned everything, that it was unfair and procedural, but you don't reinstate me. Then the judge said, no, go back to work. And I must say, to me, the excitement of just going back to the work, because I joined the police when I was 20 years old. I was very young, and I grew up in the police. Now, where I was earning comfortably more than even the National Commissioner. But because of my work is to fight crime, and I grew up in the police, I was not comfortable to work in a political environment like in the city of Joburg, just because there's money. I opted to go back with the hope that they are not going to take my salary down. But when I came to the police then, we were negotiating my salary, because they said to me, you cannot come here and you want to earn a salary more than the National Commissioner. And then I wasn't signing, because I was still going between the lawyer and to them, but they want to take my salary down. Then they said, okay, sign here so that at least a month and you are in the court, you are going to get your salary. Then they started with 1.5. That's what happened. Then I started there with the hope that we'll negotiate my salary. I never got to get to that point because along the way I was then promoted, which took my salary almost closer. Then I kept quiet because I was then running, doing my work on a daily basis. I'm proceeding. I know I'm wasting your time, evidence. The way you look at me, I'm worried sometimes. You threaten me.
We have limited time, General. Let's continue.
Yeah, I see. And when I look at you, I get worried. General Mkhwanazi's attempt to characterize this reinstatement and appointment as untoward or irregular is therefore unfounded. More importantly, it reflects either a fundamental misunderstanding of the legal effects of the court order, or a deliberate effort to cast a lawful process in an adverse light. In either event, the attempt is unwarranted, and when viewed in the broader context of the evidence telling, I further refer the Commission to paragraph 23 to 29 of this affidavit. General Mkhwanazi further takes issue with the fact that my appointment as Deputy National Commissioner occurred approximately 1 year after my reinstatement to SAPS, seemingly to suggest that the timing of the appointment reflects adversely on my suitability. This criticism overlooks my demonstrable permanence during the intervention period and is unwarranted.
Keep going.
Now, what I want to point out, I was promoted to become a Major General in 2010. General Mkhwanazi was promoted to become a Major General in 2011. 4 months into his new appointment, he was appointed to be the acting National Commissioner of the Police. And there were concerns raised by the Lieutenant Generals and the Deputy National Generals and say, this is our subordinate. We can't stand up when he walks in, and he just got promoted now. Overnight, he was promoted to become a Deputy Lieutenant General. Overnight, so that he can continue to act as the National Commissioner, of which was removed within, I think, 7 months into that position. Because what I want to say is that
Does his testimony not say that he opted out? Am I mistaken?
I choose to disagree, Chair.
All right, let's.
Yes, I choose to disagree on that one.
All right, thank you.
Yes, but be that as it may, Chair, he's querying the fact that I was appointed a general from 2010, and I was reinstated as if I never left, to 2022, which makes it something like 13 years, a Major General. But where I was a head of department still. I progressed. I was working very hard wherever I've been. Now, for him to say I was not supposed to have been promoted, it's as if I could say, look who is talking. Because I was promoted in 2010, was promoted in 2011. But the fact that he was promoted into acting as a national commissioner due to political reasons or political intervention, because it is a presidential prerogative as to who he appoints, maybe, but the person must be competent and suitable. They appointed General Mkhwanazi. And the procedure in the police that you must at least stay 2 years in a rank before you can be promoted to the next rank. Now, in 2011, we became a Major General. But within 2011, we became an acting National Commissioner. And as the other seniors objected, within a night, overnight, He became a major, a lieutenant general. That made him now to be able to continue acting as the national commissioner.
And which year is this? The promotion is in 2011.
2011.
Still 2011.
Still 2011. That's the period I was deeply involved in the Richard Mdluli matter. At some point, I attended a meeting with him to go and see President Zuma in relation to the same Richard Mdluli matter. So I just want to end there. So,
Paragraph 136.
following my return, I was appointed as component head, organized crime. In that capacity, I revitalized the National Organized Crime Secretariat, re-establishing it as a functional national forum through which all provinces to coordinate and reported on organized crime project during this period. The number of active organized crime projects increased from 24 to 74, accompanied by a marked improvement in overall organizational performance within the organized crime environment. The interval between my reinstatement and subsequent promotion to Deputy National Commissioner therefore reflects a period of demonstrable service and performance at a senior level, rather than any lack of suitability for appointment. It is telling that despite a demonstrable record of performance and institutional confidence, the criticism persists and is directed at peripheral considerations rather than merit.
Now, General, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like from paragraph 139 to paragraph 151, it looks like you have already dealt with the content of those paragraphs. Do you want to just run your eyes through them and see if you agree? Of course, the heading, let's place the heading on record, my time at City of Johannesburg.
May I ask for the judge guidance in this regard? Why I'm saying this, Judge, the chairperson's guidance. To me, the City of Joburg is really a non-issue, and it's in fact a disturbance. Why I'm saying this? I found myself facing disciplinary hearing, facing criminal investigation, facing ad hoc commission, facing the Madlanga commission. All of these people, every day, I'm going to that lawyer to meet this one for labor, I'm going to that one to meet this one for this one. Every day someone is talking about you, you've got to listen to this one. This one was talking about you, you've got to listen to you. I call the lawyer and say, please listen to so-and-so talking to me. They say, we can't sit and listen, we've got to wait for the commission to send us the statement. Now, this side issue of the City of Joburg, it is matters that were investigated, re-investigated, double investigated again by other role players, public protectors, the Hawks, Lord, with the same person complaining, refusing to accept the results. Now, to me, I'm sitting here wasting my time on having to respond to the issues of City of Joburg, where they were ventilated and they were investigated properly. Even the Hawks investigated and the DPP declined to prosecute. The public protector cleared me. There's been many legal. So I just want to say, if the chairperson is saying, look, we are comfortable, I will walk through and leave it. But this is a thing that I was prepared to address once and for all, because there's no grabber, there's no spying equipment. These are the allegations. There's no corruption that I was ever involved in the City of Joburg. To me, it's a complete waste of time to deal with the City of Joburg at this point in time.
Ms. Killian, do you wish to comment on this?
I think what we've heard up to now, Chair, covers most of the topics that were ventilated by other witnesses, and I think we can move on to paragraph 158.
Or not even 152 to 158? 150, oh, sorry, 155.
Can I come in, Chair?
Yes.
I think it's paragraph 155.
Just a minute.
I was
150,
ambitious.
155.
Thank you.
Thank you. 155, General.
Thank you, Chair. When I was asking, Chair, whether I can come in, if there's going to be any question that comes from the city of Joburg in relation to the city of Joburg, then it compels me to go through my statement. But if the chairperson says we have dealt with it and we are happy, then I can say let's go. But if at some point I'm going to be expected to respond to the city of Joburg, like I'm saying, to me, really the city of Joburg is just one of those distraction that I'm facing. It's being pushed to just distract me and keep me more busy than what I'm facing now.
No, the point is more this, General. Because sometimes you go ahead of the part of the narrative where you are. So you end up dealing with parts of your statement that come later. You end up dealing with those earlier. So it's on that basis that we say we think you have dealt with the parts that we referred to. That cannot mean that you will not be questioned on those parts. If there's a need for you to be questioned on those parts, you will. And I don't think you will be prejudiced because you know the story. You know about Joburg, and you say you've been engaged about it by so many persons and entities. So you know about it. It's not as if you'll be taken by surprise if you are questioned on it. Am I making sense?
You do, Chair, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm ready to proceed.
Thank you. 155, then start with the heading.
Maybe before you do that, General, let me just clarify something so that there's no confusion, at least in my head. When you spoke earlier, and I'm asking just to clarify, not because I think there's any significance to it. It comes from what you said. You were speaking about General Mkhwanazi's comments about your promotion after you returned, and then you said something about, I think you said policy is that you get promoted, there's no, within 2 years or something, you cut. Can you just explain that?
If you were promoted now and you were made to be let's say a brigadier, you've got to stay at least 2 years in that rank before you can start applying for another position or be promoted to the next level.
Okay.
But 2 years is where you need to push for that. In other words, if I was promoted as a Major General in 2010, within 2011, and all of a sudden I'm again promoted, it's considered to be an irregular appointment.
Okay.
And that is why you had one of the witnesses testifying in the ad hoc commission about the possible appointment, I think General Kumalo, if I'm not sure. But I don't want to get into that space because it's not my testimony.
Yes, and you say General Mkhwanazi was promoted outside of that policy, or contrary to that policy?
Yes, because he was promoted in 2011.
Yeah.
And then within that year, he was promoted to become the acting national commissioner.
Okay.
And then within a day, I think a day or two, was then promoted to become a lieutenant general.
Okay. The reason I ask, and you can say if it is a typo, and I'm really trying to see if it's a hard and fast rule that was complied with all the time. In your statement, you explain that you returned to the SEPS in 2022 July in the role of in the position of, or rank rather, of Major General. And then in the next paragraph, you say in July 2023, which is a year later, you were then promoted to Lieutenant General. That seems to suggest that rule was not consistently applied in the SEPS.
You know, I think the commissioner is making a mistake. Remember, I was promoted as a Major General in 2010.
Okay,
And I was reinstated
as a Major General.
as a Major General, as
Okay.
if I never left.
Okay, I understand.
So which means it comes all the way.
Okay, now I'm answered. I'm answered. Thanks for clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can now go to 155.
One page?
155.
155.
And you can start with the heading.
Chair, as she told me to go through to 155, and when I see this, I know I've addressed it, but when I look at, for instance, 152, when I say a case against me, no, Chair, what I was saying is, what is the Chair saying?
We were discussing issues around what time we should break for the day. Please continue with the point you were making.
What I wanted to say, Chair, is that she says I must go to 155, and which is fine. And I also see that what is here is what I've addressed, but I want to say 152. A case against me was indeed investigated by the Hawks under case number 415 of 6/2022 in relation to the allegations of fraud for the procurement of TSCM equipment. On 12 August 2022, I authored a letter to General Masemola notifying him of this investigation and requesting him to assist me in having the investigation expedited, as I believe seemed to be malicious and an attempt to malign my reputation. A copy of this letter is attached here to us, marked as SS 26. The Director of Public Prosecution declined to prosecute. Now, when you read, and I wanted to read this SS 26 into the matter, you will understand why I'm saying it's SS 26.
Three of 10, General.
Three
File 3 of 10.
of 10. We have it. 3 of 10, I've got it.
432.
Right. This is the letter that I wrote on the 12th of August 2022. I think it was before I even came back to the police.
You say you came back in July.
No, I came
And the
back in
letter is in
July.
Au-
This one
is
is
in
August
August.
2022. I don't know. Yes, but I wrote this letter to the national head, to the National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Masemola, and I also wrote it to National Head, Lieutenant General G.S. Lebeya of the DPCI. Request for intervention, Hillbrook case 415, and the allegations of fraud, procurement of technical surveillance countermeasure equipment, TSCM, City of Joburg. Now, this letter, it contains a lot of the information that I spoke about, and then I was talking about investigations undertaken that led to these charges against me, because I investigated a lot of people there. Some of them affected the then city manager, and who also then took away my powers. I went to court and the powers reinstated my powers. But of importance, what I wanted to say is that the people that I investigated were the one who were now taking my powers. But why I wrote a letter to the National Commissioner, the point of concern, I'm going to only focus on the point of concern. Say, corrupt individuals within the city of Joburg are using members of the police service to conduct investigation to put me under scrutiny. Despite being cleared by the SSA and Moody and Robertson report, I was told by Major General Kadwa that the SSA is not the alpha and omega upon inquiring about the progress made in the investigation. It is common cause that this is a political matter and not a clear-cut administrative investigation process. Police are failing to run with the matter and deal with it for what it is, but simply fighting and creating more confusion. This cannot be allowed to continue. All the efforts to make a conclusive finding that determines any wrongdoing on my part has not been finalized to date. However, there seems to be a concerted effort aimed at still pushing this matter for further investigation, and it is unclear as to what the motive or at least the intent is in this respect. Mr. Mesuli Mlando is making all manner of spurious allegations and working with a rogue city and some police officials who to sow the seeds of doubt against my clearance on the allegations. All these actions are attempts to cast aspersions on my integrity, both in the SAPS, the city of Joburg, nationally and internationally. The investigation conducted by the Hawks is progressing at a snail's pace when the SSA, Moody and Robertson investigation reports are available for perusal. The last one says, the matter is worrying in that it is being politicized and used as a tool for distraction. There is clearly no wrongdoing from my side. This is just an intent to investigate even other parts of my life by using the investigation as an entry point, and I find this to be extremely unfair. These allegations in the main are directed at creating an impression that I have procured and used less spy equipment against people of interest. My credibility and integrity are being put into question unnecessarily. The reason why I'm saying this, Chair, is that in the police, when, let's say, for instance, you have applied for a position, or they don't want you to get to that point, they make allegations and they will open a case and say, we are running an investigation, we are investigating, and they will keep it. That is why you will hear, I've been under investigation since I came back into the police. I have other documents that were given to me where they said, we were looking into you, we were investigating you, we found nothing. But since I came back, you will hear crime intelligence saying, no, the investigation is at an advanced stage. We are still investigating. I've been under investigation for a very long time, even to date, and I know I'm being investigated. But as early as last year, early January, I was told by a journalist who said, we are being asked to run a narrative or about your imminent arrest because so we want your side of the story. Are you involved with drug cartels? Since as early as last year, are you involved with drug cartels? Are you involved in drugs? I don't know if I look like someone who's involved in drugs, commissioners, but I've never been involved in drugs. I don't work with drug cartels. If there's any voice, any role I've played, it's okay. I will be charged. But at this point in time, my worry is when an investigation is being kept and saying we are investigating, and it's getting nowhere. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, General. Ms. Hasim Meskilian, we are thinking of taking a 5-minute break, come back and sit until 5. Would that be fine?
That's fine with me, Chair.
We're also available, thank you, Chair.
All right. Let's adjourn and come back at 8 minutes past. Let's adjourn.